Do you know there is an award that rewards good governance in Africa by African leaders that is higher than the Nobel Prize in any field? If you find it surprising that such an award exists, you'll be more surprised about how little is known about the African billionaire behind this award, Mo Ibrahim. Fun fact, if you use or enjoy mobile communication service in Africa today, you should be thankful to this man. Today, our focus is on this pioneer of telecommunications in Africa. When Mo Ibrahim said he wanted to build telecommunications for the African continent, he was laughed at and told he was an idiot. He was told that Africa does not have a market for mobile phones. He was told that the people who have to live on less than $1 per day cannot afford to think about phones. Mo proved his critics wrong. His journey to proving his critics wrong is a story of determination, persistence, and fire of an African man. Sir Mohammed Fatih Ahmad Ibrahim was born on May 3, 1946 in Sudan. He is the second of 5 children, 4 of which are boys. It was easy for his family to move to Alexandria from Sudan because they were of Nubian descent. Nubians' ancestral lands stretched from southern Egypt to northern Sudan. While in Egypt, his father was employed as a clerk by a cotton trade organization. His mother, Ida, was uncompromisingly vocal about affording all her children sound education. The family of 7 were crammed in a small apartment and as a result had to put up with a stifling heat which lasted for most of the warmer parts of the year. As a child, Mo Ibrahim idolized Albert Einstein so much that he wanted to become a renowned scientist too. He had to change his mind when he won a partial scholarship to study in the University of Alexandria. He obtained a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering in 1971. At the age of 25, Mo Ibrahim began an internship with the National Telecommunications Union, a regulatory body in Geneva, Switzerland. While on the way to see a movie, Ibrahim observed how the taxi driver communicated with the dispatch back at the taxi cab company headquarters using a 2-way radio frequency system. He was enthralled because prior to that encounter, the known way to communicate over long distance to him was by telephone. This time, Mo observed that there were no wires involved. Mobile networks relied on radio frequency signals. This sparked his curiosity and led to an interest in the coolness of mobile communications. From that moment, a seed was planted. When he returned to Sudan in 1974 and took up a job as an engineer with a state-run telephone company, Sudan Telecom, Ibrahim began noticing the opportunities that lie in providing mobile communication services to Africa and the challenges that could hinder its progress, infrastructure being the chief among them. At this time, landlines were not even a known thing on the gun-shaped continent. He began thinking of ways to overcome the hurdles to providing mobile communication services in Africa, but did not attempt to solve the problem, at least not yet. That same year, he moved to England and began a master's program in electronics and electrical engineering at the University of Bradford. He later earned a PhD from the University of Birmingham, where he also taught. He left academia in 1983 to become the technical director of Cellnet, later O2, which handled wireless operations for British giant BT. After 5 years at Cellnet, Ibrahim grew weary of corporate politicking and called it quits in 1989. He went on to become a telecoms consultant. He called his company Mobile Systems International, with the dining room of his family home in London serving as its office. MSI became such a success story that over the next decade, it helped build mobile phone networks in other countries for major operators. Mo sold MSI in 2000 to Marconi for more than $900 million US. This sale enriched not only Mo, but also many of his employees, who he had so generously gifted shares of the company's stocks as bonuses. While still working at Mobile System, Mo decided to revisit the idea that had come to him while he was working in Sudan, solving the African mobile telephone problem. He created MSI Cellular Investments in 1998, which he later renamed to Celtel International. After the sale of MSI, Ibrahim created a business plan that went against what was the norm for most African companies. Him and his co-founders would give and receive no bribes. While he enjoyed almost immediate success with the founding and the subsequent sale of MSI, Celtel International was a honeypot he could only feed from after defeating the bees, and in this case, the bees were dogged. Celtel faced a huge problem even before it commenced operation: funding. People simply refused to invest in Celtel because they said it was not. They all said Africa was a basket case, a dangerous place filled with corrupt dictators and crazy people. Most people laughed at him anytime he shared the idea. They were partly right. Begin, the vast majority of the African landmass had no existing infrastructure for old landline phones, let alone the cell towers needed for a mobile phone company to function. At the time, mobile telephones were seen as toys for the rich. When his former clients and colleagues assessed the opportunity in Africa, what they saw was the level of poverty, lack of infrastructure, fragility of government, and the lack of access to basic amenities, drinking water. Mo was not deterred by these remarks. If anything, he was emboldened by them. His focus was more on the potential, the opportunity, rather than the obstacle. In fact, with only just 5 employees and very little financial backing, Celtel began its operation. The challenges were enormous. Creating the infrastructure that would enable the Celtel work was almost impossible. He sometimes had to produce his own power. In some cases, some areas were so inaccessible that he had to use helicopters to bring materials. To make matters worse, all of this was done without relying on funding from local governments or major banks. Even after Ibrahim proved the practicality of his model and reached predictable cash flow in millions of dollars, banks still denied him access to loan facilities. He had to resort to equity financing to get most of the funds needed to keep the company going. It was indeed a hell of an undertaking. In just 6 years, however, Celtel built operations in 10 African countries, gaining 5.2 million customers in the process. Celtel was so successful that in 2004, just 6 years after it was founded, its profit had reached $640 million. Net profits $147 million. When Ibrahim decided to sell the company in 2005, it was acquired for $3.4 billion. In a very short time span, Ibrahim Celtel was able to unlock billions of dollars worth of value from some of the poorest countries in the world. There is a mobile telecommunication industry, the backbone of the financial and entertainment industry in Africa today, because Mo Ibrahim refused to only look at the challenges. Celtel International was sold to MTC Kuwait for $3.4 billion in 2005, but Ibrahim remained as the chairman of the company until 2007. Ibrahim pocketed $1.4 billion out of the deal, making him the first Sudanese billionaire ever. Ibrahim subsequently focused his attention on investing in startups to improving the life of Africans by encouraging good governance through the Mo Ibrahim Foundation, which he created in 2006. The foundation works with renowned economics and political scientists with the aim of promote accountability through the Ibrahim Index, which ranks 48 countries in sub-Saharan Africa according to various factors such as human rights abuses and political corruption. From that, Ibrahim created the Mo Ibrahim Prize for Achievement in African Leadership, with Mozambique's Joaquim Chissano as the inaugural recipient of the award in 2007. This prize, which was intended to be annual, was not given in some years because there are standards set by the board of the foundation which must be met. Consequently, after the inaugural edition in 2007, the award was not given until 2011. The Ibrahim Prize is worth $5 million plus an additional stipend, which makes it the highest individual award in the world. Ibrahim has been featured in Times Magazine 100 Most Influential People in the World, Bloomberg Market's 50 Most Influential People, among several other honors. Early this year, he was appointed Knight Commander of the Order of St. Michael and St. George for his services to charity and philanthropy. Mo Ibrahim did not just build a company, he built a continent. He didn't just introduce telecoms to a dark continent, he built the infrastructure that made it possible. When most people saw a poor people, millions of people living on less than $1 per day, Mo Ibrahim saw a people who had the same desires as people in Canada, the United States, and the United Kingdom, the desire to communicate and connect. He harnessed this opportunity and became one of the greatest entrepreneurs in Africa's history. What lessons can we learn from this legend? Well, number 1, have the eyes for opportunity. When people saw challenges, Mo saw opportunities. When people saw obstacles, Mo saw the way. The second lesson is, anyone will quit, but not Mo Ibrahim. He was a fighter, a warrior in the business realm. When government couldn't provide roads to move his cables, he built roads. When government couldn't provide the infrastructure for his company, he built them. There is no, it cannot be done in Mo Ibrahim's universe. Delete that from your universe too. And lastly, Mo Ibrahim loved this continent more than anything. There is something about finding a place that you love and working with it in mind. Think about Andrew Carnegie. He loved America and wanted to ensure America continued to be great. Jamsetji Tata loved India so much and he wanted to make India great. The same with Mo Ibrahim. Business should not just be business. Business should come with a bigger goal that can outlast you even when you're gone. Obviously, Africa still has a lot of problems. We need more Mo Ibrahims. We need more visionary entrepreneurs. We need more men and women who are willing to take on big problems or solve them. I believe one of those visionary entrepreneurs listening to this today. See you at the top, my friends. Till I see you again in this podcast, thank you for listening to this episode. Kindly subscribe and share with others. Thank you.